My friends, we've been learning all about different habitats. For the last 2 days, we've been learning about this new habitat. What is the name of the habitat we see in this picture? I see the cactus, the sandy ground, desert. Good job. This is the habitat of the desert. Have you ever been to a desert before? Maybe you can share us pictures. What is the desert like, friends? What is the weather like in the desert? We remember that it's sunny and dry. There's not a lot of rain and not a lot of water, and it's very sandy. The sun shines all day and makes it really hot. And then at nighttime, when the sun goes down, it gets cooler. Let's look at some desert. We're going to look at the desert. We see the sun shining. Oh, there's the turtle. And we see the prickly cactus. It's very sharp with the coyote. It's really sunny and it looks really dry. There's the sun on the cactus. We don't see lots of water or any rain. My friends say prickly. My friends, can you say desert? It's very hot and very dry. Remember earlier this year, we learned that animals need to protect themselves and keep themselves safe. They have to protect themselves from the weather, like when it's too hot or too cold. Remember we saw this animal in the desert? This animal has to protect itself from the hot sun, from the heat. They also have to protect themselves from other animals. In the desert, animals protect themselves from other animals that are going to try to catch them. What animal did we learn about? Who do you see in this picture? Yes, good job. This is the jackrabbit. It's a rabbit. My friends say jackrabbit. And do you remember, how does the jackrabbit protect himself from the heat and to stay cool? What does he use? Pause there and tell us. He uses its big ears to let all of the heat and the hot body heat come off of their body and go into the air so they can cool down. My friends say jackrabbit. Now, this animal has to protect itself from the weather and to stay cool too. What animal do we see in this picture? It does look like a cat. My friends say bobcat. This is a bobcat. And do you remember, how does the bobcat protect himself when it gets too hot and he wants to stay cool? You got it. We see that there's a cave behind him. So when it gets too hot and it's lots of heat, he wants to stay cool and he hides in the cave out of the sun. My friends, bobcats usually come out at nighttime and then they sleep in caves or in the shade when it's daytime because they want to stay cool when it's too hot outside. When the sun goes down and it gets cooler, they come out and they look for their food. Animals that get to sleep all day and then they come out at night are called nocturnal. What kind of animal is this bobcat? Say it with me. Nocturnal. Good job, friends. This animal has to protect himself too. He doesn't want to get too hot. He wants to stay cool. What animal do we see in this picture? A snake. But this is not just a regular snake. This is a rattlesnake. My friends say rattlesnake. How does the rattlesnake protect itself from the heat and staying cool? Remember, look at the picture. Good job. We saw in the picture that there's shade. The rattlesnake goes under the rocks for shade, just like the bobcat went under the cave. Rattlesnakes have to protect themselves from the sun, and they have to protect themselves from other animals. The rattlesnakes have a special way to show the other animals they need to stay away. How do you think the rattlesnake warns other animals? Remember, it's called a rattlesnake. He has to rattle its tail and he sticks out his tongue to hiss. My friends, shake, 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 and put out your tongue and say, sss. That's what our rattlesnake does. Plants have to protect themselves too. Remember, the desert is very dry and it does not rain a lot. But remember, we know that plants need water so they can live and they can grow. Cactuses are special plants. They can live and they don't need a lot of water. They can hold water inside themselves for a long time and they use it a little bit at a time. Remember, we heard that word sip? So these cactuses, they take in the water, but they just sip a little bit at a time. My friends say cactus. These are the plants in the desert. The desert is a very hot and dry habitat. Desert animals stay cool in many different ways. Some animals hide under the rocks, and some animals sleep all day and they come out at night when it gets colder. Plants, like cactuses, have to keep their water inside so they can stay alive in the dry desert where it hardly ever rains. They hold the water inside and only use what they need to survive. All of the plants and animals that live in the desert habitat have a special way of surviving there. My friends say desert. Good. Remember, the desert is dry and hot. Remember, in our reading, we heard the word for how do cactuses feel, friends? Prickly. Listen for the word prickly while I read a part of our reading that you heard before. I can always find many animal friends over near the prickly pear cactus that grows close to the ground. The turtles and the squirrels love to eat the prickly pear's juicy red fruit. Many animals, like the spider and the snake, love to stay and hide under the prickly pear cactus so they can get their shade. I like hiding out here with my desert friends too. Prickly means sharp or pointy, like we see on this cactus. And down here, there's a scorpion. On the end of the scorpion's tail, he has a pointy, sharp piece to protect him. My friends say prickly. I'm going to show you this fruit. This is dragon fruit. And just like the prickly pear cactus, if you touch the dragon fruit, it's prickly and it can poke you. But over here we see the banana. When you rub your hand on the banana, nothing will poke you. This is called smooth. My friends say smooth, and my friends say prickly. Prickly means sharp and pointy. My friends say prickly, pointy, sharp. If something is not prickly, it is smooth. Remember, smooth is the opposite of prickly. We see the cactus, the tall ones, and we see the prickly pear cactus with the red fruit. If you touch either one of those, they can poke you. Now it's your turn to go into your house or into your yard and see if you have a plant or something that is prickly. Remember, prickly means sharp and pointy.